Hello again, it's the Rev. And as I promised, another episode of What the Rev Thinks. But this one's going to be a little different. Well, they're all a little different, but this one's going to be very different because it's only meant for the spiritual. Not meant for those who follow organized religion. But anyway, before I get to that, I just know that my videos have been sometimes a little too long, and sometimes you don't want to listen to them, and etc., etc., etc. So I'm going to make this one real short. May your higher power go with you, and I'm out of here.
That was good. Whoa. What happened?
Gotcha. And you thought I was going to just shut the hell up because you don't like my videos. If you don't like my videos, then you know where you can go. Anyway, like I said, today's sermon, Without the Mount, is about spirituality and people who are spiritual. This is not meant in any way, shape, or form for the organized religions. And I'm going to tell you why. Because after they hear this, if they did, all they're going to do is defriend me and get pissed off. And some of you that are spiritual might do the same thing. And by the way, this is not rehearsed except in my mind. And today I have no notes to look through. It's just a rant and a rave. And what I think about being spiritual. And what I think about organized religion. So, with no further ado, I would like to start this off by saying, oh, by the way, there will be no books used today. No Webster's, no Bibles, no anything. Just me. Ta-da! Anyway, back to after the ado. Somebody asked me, do you believe in God? And I said, of course I do. Who doesn't? And that shut them up for a moment. Then they asked me, do you believe in Jesus? And I said, of course I do. Who wouldn't? And then they asked, do you believe in the Holy Spirit? And I said, of course I do. Who wouldn't? Well, I guess that really was the end of their questioning. Because I guess they figured I was a farm-raised catfish. That's just another term I use for sheeple. Let me ask you a question before I continue. How many of you out there were raised from babyhood all the way up to where you're at to think that 2 plus 2 is 4? Well, let me tell you something. What if somebody came along and said 2 plus 2 is not 4, it's 5? Or 2 plus 2 is 22? What would you do? How would you react? Would you look at them as crazy because you're stuck in your ways? Well, of course I believe in God. But God is nothing more than an ascended being, a little higher than us, and He is not perfect by no way, shape, and form. He's just a little closer to the higher power because He has ascended and we still haven't. And when you ascend, you get certain powers. And he did not have the power of creation nor destruction like people would like to say in their Bible. Which brings me to another point. Hidden downstairs in the basement, the deep, dark basement, only lit by candlelight of the Vatican, they probably have a gazillion pages of written word that they could make another, say, 1,000 new Bibles. So when the time is right for them, I'm sure they'll come up with something, put it together and say, hey, this is the new Bible. The numero tre, number 3. You got the Old Testament, you got the New Testament, and now you got the, newer than Newer Testament. So anyway, yes, I do believe in God, but I don't believe he's all that in a bag of chips. I think he still answers to the higher power that we all do. I do believe in Jesus. He was a man, nothing more than a man. Maybe gifted, but nothing more than a man. The Holy Spirit, that's where we really got something in common, because that's the higher power. That's the one that we all have in common, the Holy Spirit. But what I really like is when these people claim to work at the hand of God. They have the power of God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. You know what? These people ain't got no more power than a fucking ever-ready battery. And I don't give a shit about no bouncing bunny and shit. It runs out and they ain't got it, and that's all they got is their beliefs. So, whether you like it or you don't, we're just going to have to try to pause here. I can't seem to find the pause button.